Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 317 of the Mighty Whites podcast. Leeds United are in the fucking Premier League. How are you doing, Casey?
Yes! It's fine. We can doss about for the rest of the season now.
I mean, pretty much. Ours will be a lot lower energy than a lot of the other podcasts you'll have heard because they, one, did it before the come down, and two, had probably had some form of sleep, which I don't believe either of us have. But
No.
my main takeaway from that game, the game itself, is that is the most un-Leeds United thing I have ever seen in my life.
It really begs the question, why didn't we play that way against Swansea? Why didn't we just do that then? Then we could have felt so much better. Yeah, it was weird because I think you said as we came out of the ground, it wasn't this big jubilant event. Like, we were all happy, but it was just like, yeah, but we kind of already processed this an hour ago.
Yeah, it's not like after the Sunderland game. Obviously, you 1-0 down until the 8th minute, and Pascal Strout scores 2 late on to win it. And when everyone's coming out, everyone's singing and literally bouncing up and down. That all happened at the 20-minute mark of the first half. Because the game was done. Like, we went in, like, I know I went for a draw in the predictions because I'd gone for a draw the previous, and we'd won them all. So I just went, no, I'm just going to keep predicting draws. But we all thought that we were going to win. You listen to Square Ball Lads, any of them. Everyone was surprisingly confident, but everyone thought, oh, it'll be tight. There'll be something Leedsy about it. There'll be something stressful. We'll get to 5 minutes left and we'll be ahead 1-0. And even though they haven't had a shot, we'll all start shitting ourselves. 3-0 up in 20 minutes. Joe Peru, hat-trick.
It's dead good, Joe Peru. Absolute workhorse.
Yeah, it's weird that he had those good games where he missed a load of chances and all his off-the-ball stuff was there. And by the half-time in this game, he'd had 4 shots, scored 4 goals, and completed 5 passes.
Yeah, I'm going to say with his goals, combined total of 14 yards.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more because they were outside the 6-yard box for the first 2. So, but still got loads more.
So, yeah, it was really nice because you went from they started out, they pressed high. They had
which we noted in the stand immediately. Oh, they appear to be going to actually come forward here, and
yeah, like Al Hamady and Baker were kind of quite high up. And then sitting a bit deeper, they had everyone's favourite takeaway in Texas, Whataburger.
Yeah.
And yeah, like for the first 3 minutes, I was like, oh, they're actually going to try and pen us in here. And then it turned out we just needed to play it to the right-hand side, about the halfway line, and it's like going through fields.
Yeah. We did end up getting stuff through high pressing, but every single bit of attacking play that had any sort of build-up, they reminded me a little bit of Jesse Marsh's Leeds. They were so narrow and just giving Bogle and Firpo, we used Bogle more, but they just had like so much space out wide at all times. It was great to see. It was perfect for us. But yeah, we'll get into the goals themselves. First goal, high press. Nonto gets it, plays it. Solomon, square for Peru. Really well finished. And then the second goal, high press. This time Bogle wins it, finds Peru. Really good finish. There was an extra pass on the first one, but it was, in a way, the same goal twice.
I would like to take this moment to say rest in peace, Josh Wilson, S-Brand.
Yeah.
Their poor left back, who, whilst I don't think he was helped in any way by the system, in no way did they make any adjustments in the first half to counter the threat of Jaden Bogle being fucking brilliant. Yeah. There just seemed to be this, when Leeds are in possession, we will give them all the space in the world, And when we have possession on the left-hand side, we will run at Jayden Bogle and lose the ball.
Yeah. Well, I suppose nominally on the left-hand side was that Bae Jun-ho, who, to be fair to him, probably did look their most lively player in possession. Not that it's saying a great deal, but all of the stuff where he looked decent on the ball, it was him coming inside with it, just creating even more space on that wing.
Yeah, it was just incredible. And Bogle's in this run of games at the moment now where every 50-50 he goes in for, he seems to come away with the ball. He was, and ultimately he was really unlucky to not get a goal. Obviously, he hits the post. But he was just fantastic and was also given ample time and space to do whatever he felt like.
Yeah. Well, we'll come on to him again when he hits the post quite soon. The third goal, Nonto's sort of low shot on his left foot, which I think if Johansson leaves it, the defender just boots clear, but they don't talk to each other when Johansson dives and they get a bit tangled up. Push straight to Joe Peru, puts it in near top corner. This one is about 2 yards. What a brilliant thing for a striker who's been due. We were saying, he's due. He needs a goal. He's due one. 3 in 20 minutes. That'll do.
It's quite nice to take in this. Like, I know he's very close to goal, but he just lifts it into the roof of the net, doesn't he, from close range? Because the defender is there.
Yeah. It's not nearly as good a finish, but it was a closer in version of the one he scored, the first one he scored away at Stoke, where like Johansson comes out and you're looking, is he going to pull it back, and he just puts it in the near top corner.
Yeah,
because he's got 6 in 2 games against Stoke.
Good lad. And now outright leading championship goal scorer.
Yeah, well, there was a tweet that went, I wouldn't go as far as viral, but you'll have seen it. I can't believe no one's going to get 20 goals in the championship this season. That's not good enough. And I think Joe Peru took that personally because he's up to 19 now. It was an unbelievable stat, and I think that was the moment where, like, there was massive celebrations for the first 2 goals, and then when the third one went in, you felt it go, oh, this is actually done. Like, we're not gonna, even though we have seen it before, there wasn't actually at 2-0. You still had the slight bit of rumbling of but they get one, and suddenly it might get a bit dicey. This third goal killed the game completely.
Yeah, they. I mean, if I remember rightly, I don't think it's long after this where there's an injury break and it's they're summarily brought across to the touchline for a bollocking.
Yeah,
it was.
I must admit, I didn't see this sort of real lack of fight coming, because I know that they are sort of safe. Because the good thing about being down at the bottom is you know that all the other teams aren't going to win. Weird week down the bottom. I feel so sorry for Plymouth. Beat Sheffield United and Coventry back to back and just don't get any nearer to safety. The fourth goal, at which point we are just in party time, and Jayden Bogle shows that. And the note here, you mentioned Wilson Esbrand not having a good day. It's Firpo from Bogle Cross after decimating poor Josh Wilson Esbrand, is how it's written in this note. In terms of just someone being completely done in a game, you won't see it much more. The second goal, even though it's really good pressing from a combination of Nonto and Bogle, he shouldn't lose the ball like that. All the other ones, I don't think it was him making mistakes. He was just up against players that were too good for him.
Yeah. And like you say, it just Nonto as well. I think he received the ball in the same way about 3 times where where we'd come inside a little bit from the right-hand side and was just dropping into the gap between the full-back and the centre-back for a straight line pass into the penalty area with no one around him as well.
And we missed a chance to play that pass several times as well.
Yeah, they were just all over the place by this point. And yeah, like I say, it was just really unlucky for him not to get the goal. But it's Junior's on hand.
Yeah, with a bullet finish, didn't miss kick it even slightly. Remember Mesut Ozil used to do a thing where he'd like hit it into the ground and it'd bounce up.
Mm.
It was just that, Firpo's, technically outstanding. And Firpo is involved in the fifth, if I remember rightly, because it's Gruev with a cross from sort of deep, crossed into the penalty spot where it's flicked on by Junior Firpo. Sent to a goal while it's being crossed from the wing that he's playing on.
Yeah, just sure.
Love them. But I did feel sorry for Bogle here because the first touch he takes is brilliant. Beats his man. An absolute howitzer against the post. Comes out, hits, I think, Peru in the face. Hits the defender and then falls back to Peru, who sort of scuffs one over the line.
On further review, I do think it's his chest that it comes off of.
Oh.
But yeah, there wasn't a whole lot Joel Peru knew about that ball hitting him. And the one positive I'm going to give Brendan Aronson in this game, because in spite of a 6-0 win, I still thought that man did absolutely naff all.
He wasn't bad. No one was in any way bad. It was 6-0.
His sliding in to shepherd the ball into the goal was a nice touch. I think there was a very brief moment where he was looking to see if he could claim that.
Yeah.
But I think the look also gave it away.
I haven't watched it back properly. I think if he'd have touched it, he did slide in, so if he was interfering anyway, if he was offside, I think there's a small chance he was offside there, but I haven't really checked because it's not like it mattered.
Yeah, I think, strictly speaking, the last touch is off the defender, but it's so inconsequential. It's a Peru goal. So yeah, and Joel Peru running out of celebrations at this point.
Yeah, well, the first one, maybe this is why he's been missing the chances. He's been waiting for a chance to, because I'm assuming his missus is pregnant by him sticking a football up his shirt and putting his thumb in his mouth. Maybe he's been like, oh, great, we're announcing it to the world, so I can do that now. So therefore, he didn't score for about 8 games. That's just what happens. Peru, the first Leeds player to get 4 goals in the first half in a competitive game.
Nice.
Which,
you'll never win that.
Well, it's unlikely. It's not something you see very often. And
no, it's definitely the quickest Leeds hat trick I think I've seen.
Oh, in the first 20 minutes, definitely.
And then, yeah, like you say, to get 4.5. Again, don't know if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I was just I know that this is the fastest. I'm just basically checking to see if LUFC data said beating the record of. But by the looks of it, I can't find one.
Beating the whippersnapper Wilbur Abraham, who set the record in 1904. Go get him, chaps.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, my dad went for a smoke at half-time, so I went down with him. Outside, everyone was just laughing. Trying to talk about the game, but just going. There was a level of disbelief as to how simple it was. It's sort of, I suppose the nearest thing I can think of is, and I don't remember exactly what year it is, but Chelsea once had to beat Aston Villa on the last day to seal the league title, and they won 8-0. And in terms of just the way that it went, it could get tricky for them. No, all good. And that's what this was like. And there was also something about the way that everyone was talking. Everyone was just like, after something like this, there is absolutely no way Sheffield United are getting a result there.
No, I mean, I have to apologise to Mark Robbins because clearly my instruction of have a go, you might as well.
Yeah, I said the same thing. Yeah,
was terrible advice. And the I think the triple substitution at halftime very much proved that and the score.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so relaxed. It was lovely and didn't obviously because Burnley and Sheffield United played afterwards. There was no score for us to care about at that moment. It was just lovely.
Yeah, the second half, as you would expect, way calmer. It was sort of played at half pace, but still, Manuel Solomon puts in a fantastic cross to an unmarked Willie Gnonto at the far post, who doesn't need to leap like a salmon because there's no one other than the goalkeeper within 10 yards of him. Heads it in. It's a good goal. It's a really good cross from Solomon.
It's a lovely cross. Absolutely nobody goes with him at all. He just gently walks past whoever the defender is at this point, ventures into the 6-yard box on his own, and yeah, nice simple header for him.
Yeah. And I was glad to see him get one because he did play really well. He just, Peru's getting 4 goals and Jayden Bogle's having that good a game. Gnonto ended up not being the standout, but he did play really well.
Yeah.
And, we were there at half-time because Ampadu got booked in the first half for what was a bit of a lungy tackle. And we were there going, well, at least the good thing is that the game is dead so he can make early subs. And he did, because he was 4 minutes early in the 66th minute. We had Ramazani for Gnonto, Bamford for Peru, Schmidt for Bogle on 7, and Byron for Firpo. And then the little headline, nice moment, 86 minutes, Harry Gray for Brendan Aronson.
And we don't have to see Brendan again.
It's such a nice... you're not going to... Unless he actually scored one himself or something like that, you're not going to get a much nicer debut than a 6-0 win to seal promotion.
No, it's a pretty comfortable one, was that one. Yeah, really, really nice to see him on. Patrick Bamford must be fuming because the chance for Harry Gray to coming on started before the Patrick Bamford chance, which like our new shiny toy. Bless him. Patrick Bamford is something of a Woody figure, I suppose, at this point to Harry Gray's Buzz Lightyear.
I've just remembered there was a decent penalty shot on Bamford at the end of that game, wasn't there?
Yeah, got absolutely clattered by Victor Janssen.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter, but I had forgotten about that completely. That's one of them where I wonder if there was actually a bit less contact than it looked like from the stand. But
was it that it's 6-0 already and the ref's just gone, there's no sense doing anything here now, is there?
So there was a bit in the second half where they committed a few fouls back to back, and a couple of them were definitely yellow cards. And the most complaint you got from the crowd was people going, should probably be a booking that, really. That was the no one's bothered. But I'm really glad to see Harry Gray get on. I'm not sure what the rules are now for how many games you have to play to get a medal.
I mean, it doesn't, because clubs can buy more anyway, it doesn't really matter. Because I remember I remember in 2020, McCalmont got a medal, Cresswell got a medal. I'm trying to remember who else would have been there. Ollie Casey, probably.
Yeah.
Niall Huggins. Those guys. Robbie Knotts.
Yeah, I've got it. This is from when Plymouth got promoted. There's a figure to get an AFL winners medal must have been named on a team sheet in 25% of league games. played in or been on the bench for 12 games. So if he does get one, they can get him one, but it won't be an official one. And yeah, it means that we'll see what happens as to whether we should play Alex Cairns on the last day or not. It depends how Burnley do tomorrow.
Yeah, ideally we need Burnley loss, we win, and then because of the goal difference, we can basically do whatever we want.
Yeah. And we can have everyone else in the relegation fight really mad at us.
I mean, that's going to be the daft thing is that if that did happen Monday night, that Burnley had lost and we would have won.
Can't have the trophy.
We can't have the trophy, and I'm sorry, but they're not overturning a 30-odd goal difference between us.
I don't think it's quite as much as that, is it? But I mean, it's loads. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's quite as much as that. We are currently 14 better.
Ah, okay.
I don't think that... You're thinking of Sheffield United, whom we are 35 goals ahead of on goal difference.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that Burnley haven't actually conceded any.
Yeah, they haven't scored that many, but they've conceded 15. Yeah, 15 all season. We've got an unbelievably good defensive record, conceding 29 in 44, and they've conceded half that basically. It is ridiculous. Fair play.
Yeah. So yeah, it will be annoying that we can't be given the trophy at Ellen Road. I'm saying they probably should do it because Leeds United fans are a seaside town on the last day of the season.
I don't think it'll happen, anything like that.
I don't think that'll happen. But...
One, time has moved on a bit, but two, the promotion bit is done. So people, I think. I mean, I'm not going the same, but loads of people will, and I think it'll just be a really good week. The problem is that Plymouth might get relegated, and probably will get relegated that day, and that's a shame because it might ruin a little bit of the atmosphere in and around the town.
No, we will just be the atmosphere in the town. It's fine.
Obviously,
shut up, you miserable bastard! We're champions.
Yeah, we'd be like the opposite of the Donny fans leaving Wembley, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
So yeah, outstanding performance. Look, Pirou's got 4 goals, so I think you have to give him man of the match. But if someone said Bogle, I'm not going to argue. He probably did play better than Joe Pirou did.
Yeah, I'm happy to go with that reasoning.
Yeah.
I'm happy to go with Joe Pirou, but probably Jane Bogle.
Yeah. Other than that, I thought Solomon was really good again, and I thought Tanaka was, but because he's been one who's been a little bit shaky the last couple of games, and I thought he was a lot better as well. And Firpo was really good. Rode and Ampadu both did everything you needed them to do, but defensively they had to do so little. But it's not like the Oxford game where they didn't have chances because our defenders did well. This was more because they could barely get past the midfield.
Yeah. No, it's a nice, easy. It's one of those things where whenever anyone goes through the player ratings for Carl Darlow, I think it's unfair to give him a rating because I don't think he had enough to do in the game. I don't think you can rate him poorly because he didn't play badly. I'd argue it's just not applicable.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think that there's something to be said for the defence picking up with him in. Nothing to do with actually how good Darlow's been, just that the defence has had more confidence in him. And in some of the other games, there's been a noticeable difference on dealing with crosses, which does matter. And the end of the season, you've had 1 win in 6. There's a load of pressure on, 4 wins in a row and concede 1 goal. That's how you get promoted. That's how you win leagues. And we don't need any details. Burnley beat Sheffield United. Burnley deserved to beat Sheffield United. They were a better team. Josh Brownhill getting goals again because somehow, not very attacking midfielder Josh Brownhill has 16 league goals this season. which
the Championship's a weird place.
it's a weird league. And then you've just got, like, I mean, I said I'm definitely not going to Ellen Road. My ankle's fucked. I'm not going. And then Connie, who obviously is the third man of this podcast, I did message him. He must have got stuck at work because he would have been on if he could. He starts messaging us. Are we going? No, I can't go. You know, Casey's missus is coming. He's off. Is coming round the ways. My ankle's knackered. I ain't going up to Ellen Road. And then Casey starts giving me this look. This longing look across a pub table of, yeah, but stuff like this doesn't happen very often, does it?
And we missed the last one, didn't we?
Yeah, and it was COVID, and like, I couldn't go.
And then I think the immortal words that left my mouth were, if Alex happens to cancel, I'm going to go down.
And about a minute later,
yeah, and she said she was going to stay in, and looking back, I think her thought was, okay, I will go round to hers. I don't think she realised, oh, well, I'm going to Beeston.
Yeah, we didn't get the peak of the celebrations outside. It was still rammed and plenty of people out having a good time and having a drink. We did, but it took us a little bit to get to the ground and that. But it was such a nice atmosphere to be there for. Everyone having fun, everyone just talking about the football. I was surprised not that much talk about, oh, well, we need to do this for next season. It was just people going, no, it's brilliant. What a great day.
It was very much enjoying the moment. It was like being in a giant beer garden when nobody cleared the tables.
Yeah.
And that's not a knock on anyone. That's just what happens with things
All
like that.
of ours went back into a box. Don't think we remembered to take the box with us, which was the plan. I think I just forgot.
Yeah, it's fine. It was all going to get cleaned up anyway.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound that entitled, but
mate, you're a Leeds fan. Remember, Leeds fans are entitled. If you ask me, Leeds fans know they're actually really pessimistic, but all the other teams think that Leeds fans expect to win everything all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you leaving the box of beers there is to steal the phrase, be like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic for the cleanup that was needed there.
Everyone was in such a good mood.
It was a really friendly beer garden with some additional fireworks and flares.
Yeah, and the other good thing, there was plenty of cops about and stuff, and all the cops were just being really nice about everything and just talking to everyone about the football. So, have you seen many of the videos and stuff that have come out after?
I mean, obviously, my favourite video I've seen so far is Patrick Bamford, who is now being investigated.
He has got plausible deniability. He just said do. He didn't say the rest of it. Thousands of other people did. And I mean, apparently, it has come out that he rung Chris Wilder, and Chris Wilder
sang it to him.
No, and Chris Wilder was like, "It's fine, don't worry about it." Because Chris Wilder, when he was drunk after they got promoted, was he's a good Muppets from Leeds like Patrick Bamford. He did name check Bamford specifically when he was drunk and being a bit of a dick. So Bamford gets to be a little bit of a dick back. It's fine. And I'd say credit to Chris Wilder because he did just go, yeah, it's fine. I gave it out when we did it.
I mean, yeah, because he's obviously a bit of a track record with other drunken comments about Chef Wednesday as well.
Yeah, he was singing Sausage Roll, wasn't he, about Danny Well?
Yeah. I don't think that's his worst transgression in that regard, but we won't go too deep into that.
No.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's an absolute non-incident,
Yeah.
much like Barry Douglas and the Flares. You know, the massive fine that followed that because footballers having flares on a pitch is a dreadful thing, and that's what we really need to stamp out of the game.
Yeah, you can't have flares on a pitch, even if nobody's there.
Yeah, it's bad.
I mean, we had plenty of flares. I was like, no one seemed bothered. The players seem to have been really enjoying it. Just all I mean, it was fantastic to see. Lewis Dayton's videos out. That's really good, as it always is. The Away Days channel, Ellis Platinum's done one, and that was really good as well. I've watched that a couple of times actually. It's just nice to have a record of them. But weirdly, because I was very jealous in 2020 that I couldn't go. Weirdly, when we did the last podcast, about half an hour before we did it, YouTube recommended me Lewis Dayton's video from the 2020 promotion. So I watched it then, and it made me go, yeah, it's a shame I couldn't be there. So although everyone who went to both said that the one in 2020 was better, and I'm sure it was, because that was 16 years of like pen. It was a different thing.
And I think as well,
this was needed. I'm glad that we went this time. I'm really glad.
Yeah, and I think on top of the 16 years thing with the last one, there'd also been the cooped up for several months.
Yeah.
At that point. So,
do you think I mean, we couldn't really go because we did have ill family around us and stuff. But do you think the fact that we'd been outside all day on a golf course anyway made us feel less pent up?
Yeah, that was good. That was a good day. Yeah, it's all nice, and just for a brief period, it was just happy. There were no issues. You know, no one was totally, and I don't know if there has been any serious conversations about it. No one talking of how long Farker would last next season. No talk of who is Firpo going to stay, who's coming in, who's going out. It was just this is a really nice moment.
Yeah. And when it comes to like what the squad needs and things like that, we'll think about that in a week or two. But we do need to talk about Daniel Farker and what the future is there, because the story came out in the Daily Mail, which, you know, it's a fucking rag and all of that, but it does appear to be Leeds' preferred place to leak stuff under this ownership. When you look at every story that's come out, it's quite often them. And basically saying Leeds are seriously considering replacing Daniel Farke for next season. And it's weird because if you go through the fan base, I reckon about 20% think that's an utterly ridiculous thing to do. And 20% think they probably should do it. And 60% are going, I can see the logic. I think I would put them in, and I'm in that. It's like, I don't think we should. I think we have been good enough this season that he has earned his shot. But it depends entirely who you got.
Yeah, it's very much who is available and who is interested. I don't know with this one because I think a lot
here a couple of times that you think if we go up, there's a very good chance that he's sacked by November.
I struggle to see how this playing style works against when you're now playing a majority of teams who are going to come at you.
And that are player for player better than you.
Yeah, and look, I definitely think there is a lot to be said about certain teams that when they get promoted, they have that level of cohesion that carries them above and beyond the sum of their parts. And I could see an element of that. I look at this, and again, shouldn't be making the comparisons. Do I think this team is as good as the 2020 promotion team? and I don't know.
I think the players in this are probably better than the. Well, I don't know if they're at the same. Like just in terms of the ability of this squad, I think it probably has higher footballing ability than that squad that came up.
I suppose
It doesn't have the ridiculous, and it's fit as a fiddle, but I don't think it has the ridiculousness of the Bielsa fitness regime.
No,
and all the other teams have kind of that. We were rare then. It's not rare now. Everyone's like that now.
Yeah, I think. In as much as I think Farker absolutely deserves a chance to prove himself, because I think the issue with his time at Norwich has been going up on a limited budget and still building your team mostly around your few championship players. And
he mentioned it in the press conference. I believe they spent €8 million, he said, when they went up on a squad that wasn't that amazing to begin with.
No,
and they sold Buendia.
Yeah, and look, I really like Teemu Pukki, but you can't build a Premier League team around that man. It just wasn't feasible. I think there's obviously the key questions that will come up as well. One, it's does Firpo go? Does Firpo stay? I assume there will be an offer made, but I think it would be more likely him as a squad player. So then at that point, does he either look to stay in this country and get a decent move to another championship team, or someone will take a chance on him? Does he go back to Spain? I assume, again, we're looking at a goalkeeper.
We're looking at so many.
Yeah,
that's why we're probably better off leaving that bit specifically for a couple of weeks.
No, I've started now, Jack. I can't stop here.
There'll be some stories by then, you would think.
Yeah, but yeah, ultimately, it is that I very much fall into that 60% of. I think he deserves the chance. I also think he'll be gone by Christmas. If I'm being entirely honest, because unless he has a different approach to the Premier League, I don't see how this works.
The one thing that sort of goes in his favour is, I mean, obviously the starting position, like we're basically building up in a 2-2-6 at points here with the fullbacks so aggressive, and that's not going to happen next season, barring maybe if we're playing against Burnley or whoever wins the playoffs. Like, we're not going to go for it like that. But the team is set up quite well to counter-attack, which is going to be needed a lot more. We'll have to see how he sets up. But as much as, like, if the board really think that there is a manager out there who is better suited to be in charge in the Premier League, because it's a completely different job. So there might be someone who's more suited. And if they do that, then it's not an unreasonable thing to do. The problem is if you do it and it doesn't work, like, I mean, then the entire football world gets to beat you with a stick, and it's fair. But we have seen other teams do it. Like, I mean, Bournemouth sacking O'Neill for Iraola, even though O'Neill had done the job that he was there to do. The first one I really remember, Nigel Adkins was doing quite well at Southampton and they sacked him for Pochettino. And it worked really well. Chris Hughton keeping Brighton up in that first season, getting rid of him for Potter. Like, when we come up, we're going to look at every single position in that squad and, can we get a better player in that position? So them looking to see if they can do the same in the dugout is not unreasonable. But I think, all things considered, I would still be monumentally shocked if we had if it wasn't Daniel Farke on first day next season.
Yeah. And then we can blame him if we're in a terrible position.
Well, in a way, no. What? Yeah, we'll just blame the board and say, well, we told you should have got rid of Farker.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it all goes wrong. Burnley are away at QPR at 12:30 tomorrow. Hopefully QPR win. But
It's a tough place to go, is London.
Yeah.
As a northern team.
So, yeah, Bristol City on Monday night.
Oh, yeah.
These are like the opposite of what we normally have, where we're like, oh, tough game, all that. No, this is the opposite. We always beat Bristol City. They're like one team that we have a weirdly great record against. And I have no idea how this game's going to go. Like, they're in the playoff places. And how many points?
They are 4 points clear of Middlesbrough in 7th.
So, depending how the results go tomorrow, they might be guaranteed playoffs by the time Monday night comes around.
They've also got Preston at home on the last day of the season.
Yeah, so they should be fine. But it might change the way that they play, depending on how the results go on Saturday. I'm very pleased for Liam Manning having him up so high in the league. I mean, obviously, he's had a fucking horrendous year. His newborn son died in October, which must have been just an awful thing to go through. So, I hope his personal life is going as well as possible as well, but I'm not privy to that, so I'm just glad the football side of his life is going well. Because, after something like that, it doesn't matter, you don't know them. You want them to have something nice happen. And to get that squad, when you look at their team, to have them 5th in the league is pretty damn good going.
Yeah, I also, and because what you've said there is a very nice and I would say quite a classy comment about that. I would also follow that up with there's 3 teams in the 3 other teams in the playoffs I dislike for varying reasons.
Yeah. Well, no, the selfish one with Bristol City is I think they're the worst placed one to go up and do well. Like, if they go up, I think they'll have the weakest squad, and in theory, that's your team that comes 20th, and you want as many weak teams. But we'll see what happens with that. Back 3 pretty much every week with wing backs, 2 deep CMs, and 2 players behind the striker. But they're more 10s than wingers, so they're fairly narrow, and all the width comes from the wing backs. And we, going forward at least, tend to do well against teams that play narrow. Provided we're playing well. When we're not playing well, we do terribly against teams that play narrow because we just have crap possession around, in like a ring around the outside and don't have any penetration with it.
Yeah.
So it depends how we're playing. But do you think that we're going to just go into this with all the confidence in the world and not all of the pressure off, but almost all of the pressure off?
Yeah, I do think this will be quite freeing for the squad now, because this is the main goal has been achieved.
Farker mentioned in the press conference, he was asked, "Oh, so is it all eyes on the title?" And he said, "Of course we want to win the league, we want to win the title." But he did say, "But the actual job is done. Whether you come first or second doesn't really matter in terms of how you do next season."
We have ensured that our season has finished 3 games earlier than it did last year, and that, to be honest, I'll include these last 2 games. Our season has finished 5 games earlier than it did last season.
Yeah. So he did make it sound like, obviously we want to win the league, but truth be told, we're not that bothered. We've done the bit we were bothered about.
So yeah, and it'd be quite nice now. I think they can go out play with that extra level of freedom. So we'll see them go out there, retain possession for long periods of time, knock it around the midfield, and then eventually look to hit them out wide.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is nothing changes in that regard.
Yeah. From their team, by all accounts, Jason Knight in midfield has been really good this season. He was quite good at Derby, wasn't he, before? And they've got Rob Dickey as like the central centre-back, who is good in the air from set pieces, a good defender. He's also pretty good on the ball, and he loves a long shot. So he's like one of the more interesting players to watch. It's still Naki Wells up top, who I'm sure isn't like...
He's 34.
Yeah, but in my head, he must be like 50. He's he's been around forever. He's got 10 goals, and Anis Mehmeti's got 12, but he hasn't been starting as much lately, so he must have been really good in early season and dropped off. Based on some of the stats stuff, they look like they're quite susceptible on the counter-attack. Particularly, their wing-backs get forward. We have a chance then to get 3v3 against the centre-backs if we can go. So it's probably not the worst thing to let them have the ball at times. But obviously, it depends how they play. They might sit back and just, like, for instance, if Middlesbrough get a point and Millwall, if like Middlesbrough, Millwall, Blackburn, if they all draw, then Bristol City will know a point wraps it up for them. So you might get that. It does mean as well with them having a back three that, assuming it's Aronson at 10, which we don't know, but probably, he should probably push right up with Peru quite a bit off the ball because we'll have to do a lot of chasing around. And when Nonto does it from the right-hand side, they have a free ball out, which is fine when it's Dan James because he can get back in. It's harder with Nonto. But do you think, given that basically the press there was no team news in the press conference, no one asked him. So I'll just assume it's the same players available that it was before. Do you think he'll change anything? Do you think anyone's a particularly massive drinker and like need a game off?
Who was in a bit of a state? Dan James sounded like he was in a bit of a state.
I mean, he was.
But
he
also,
was pictured out the next day,
and
he looked okay in that picture. So I think he's all right.
I just heard him yelling a lot in the background.
Max Verber seems like someone who could put a fair few drinks away, but he also seems like he'd be good at handling it.
Yeah.
And he's only going to be on the bench anyway, so he'll be fine.
I mean, if you grow up with a Stein in your hand, it's probably going to do you half decent there.
I don't know if any news has leaked, but for the predicted lineup on Who Scored has Byram at left back and Ramazani on the left wing. Maybe because someone could have been asked in the embargoed bit of the press conference. And I'm just surprised at that being the predicted lineup. Everything else is in, but I would have thought same team.
Yeah, I could maybe see. I could maybe see him switching Nonto with someone, but that's about it. And I don't think he should.
With Aronson?
No, I don't think he will.
Now,
that would be the dream.
I think it'll be the exact same team.
Yeah.
I think he'd have been tempted to give Bamford a start just because it'd be nice, but Peru scored 4 goals playing up front in the last game. So even though there's nothing at stake, you can't really change that. The confidence was quite... Oh, I've just realised that I'm on the wrong bit of this. The confidence was quite high with everyone else. Connie 3-0. Benny's also gone 3-0. Alex has gone 3-1. What are you having, Casey?
2-0.
2-0 win. I think the teams chasing the playoffs are going to drop points. Bristol City will basically also have no pressure on, and it'll just be one of them games where everyone goes for it. I'm going for a 5-2 win.
You can tell he's been having to downplay his predictions recently. Now that promotion's dealt with.
Yeah. I think they're going to screw up at the weekend. Bristol City will basically be in a position where they can go, fuck it, let's go for it, and rest a few players. And it'll just be a massively open game, and it'll be really fun to watch.
Yeah.
Last thing I'll ask. Obviously, we want to win the league. How bothered are you?
No, I really want to win the league.
I think you're a lot more bothered than I am about the actual winning.
Oh, yeah.
I am surprised. I thought that I would be more bothered than this, but I'm just so happy that we're up.
Look, I know I will go to it if we finish second, but I really think if you're going to do an open top bus tour, you really should have a trophy to go with it.
I did say this, actually. I don't think that they should really do a bus tour if we don't win the league. But it's already organised. And that's what the other side of it is, that they didn't get to do one in 2020, which is why I think it's a bit better. I don't know how, because the MLS season is going, isn't it, now?
Yes.
So, like, I don't see how Matthias Klick is going to get the time off. But it is on a Monday, isn't it?
I mean, I suppose if you use some of Leeds' American contacts, you could get borrow a jet here or there and
Yeah.
get yourself over briefly.
Get him and Larry Nance on the same one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is a Monday. So if their game is the Saturday or the Sunday, because I would quite like Klick and like Stuart Dallas. It's probably not Luke Ayling because he's at Middlesbrough.
But by the way, I don't know if you saw the thing. So Middlesbrough, lovely thing they did, celebrating Johnny Howson's 750th appearance.
I know what you're going to mention because I know you put it on our Twitter.
They got a program from his 750th appearance with him on it, and they got a program from his debut with Hayden Fox on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember him being ginger.
Oh, I don't remember
He's
being
more
that ginger
than I remember. I don't know if it's because like the way that the program's faded slightly over the years.
It's just yeah. I'm just having a look at the Atlanta United fixtures here. They do play on Sunday.
Well, that should be fine. He's off training Monday then.
Yeah, but when I say they play Sunday, it's at is that Saturday? I'm trying to figure out actually because it's Sunday. It's midnight. Also, no, that's our time.
Night.
Yeah, Saturday. I'm assuming that's what it is. So early hours of
morning.
Yeah, so you would have time to get over. Yeah, get it done.
I say I would like people from the 20 because, and I really would turn it into it being a little bit for them as well because they didn't get one last time. They did get a buff. It just wasn't allowed to do.
Ben White, get him up.
Get Pablo Hernandez over if Castillon B don't have a game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that will do us for episode 317 of the Mike White's podcast. We'll be back probably, I don't know. We've got Monday and then Saturday, so we'll try and get in earlier in the week from this, but we'll have to see what happens with work and stuff. So, yeah, I've been Jack. See ya.
I've been Casey. Have a good one.
In a bit.